Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and lows from around world football this weekend. I'm Joe, and as ever, I'm joined by Patrick.
And our first winner this week is Sergio Aguero. He became the first City player to score a hat-trick against Chelsea in Premier League history as the Sky Blues won 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. Joe, how good was he?
Yeah, he was amazing. He just tore Chelsea seam from seam, it looked like out there. It's 11 goals in his last 12 games now. He's just been in one hell of a run, hasn't he? He's just picking up more and more form. And it's kind of ironic, actually, this is coming the week that he was snubbed for the PFA Player of the Year award, despite the fact he's only one goal behind Harry Kane, even though Harry Kane plays tonight. But nevertheless, that's an amazing accomplishment. And he's now the fifth player, only the fifth player in the history of the Premier League to score 20 plus goals in 3 seasons. That's amazing.
Well, he's unbelievable. He's a phenomenal spearhead to that attack, but City looked great in this game. Kevin De Bruyne coming back, he's been their other outstanding player this season, you'd have to say. And it looks like a really dangerous partnership between those two going into the Guardiola era. Yeah,
Guardiola's got to be pretty excited. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably got the world's best striker with one of the world's most creative players in behind him. I mean, there's going to be a lot of shouts out there for Lewandowski. I'm not including Ronaldo and Messi in this, obviously, because they're just in a different world. But behind them, I think it's between him, Lewandowski and Suarez. It's very, very close. But Aguero on his day, he's just so clinical. You give him 1 yard of space and it's a goal. Anywhere within 20 yards of the goal, he'll hit the back of the net. He just seems, when he's on form, he's unstoppable.
But City look very, very dangerous going into the end of the season. So, where do you think they're going to finish? Are they going to finish higher than Arsenal? Will they finish even in the top 2? Let us know in the comments below.
Our first loser is a team that's in here for its second week in a row, and surprisingly, it's Barcelona, Patrick. Not had a good week.
No, they haven't. They haven't had a good few weeks. They lost 2-1 against Valencia, despite playing at the Camp Nou, and something seems kind of off with Barcelona. They created tons of chances in this game. They really did. We shouldn't overstate. It's not like they became incompetent overnight, but they just simply couldn't finish. They gave away the ball in sloppy positions. The second goal for Valencia was absolute carnage in the right-back position. And something just seems amiss in that squad. Neymar has been off form, according to the Catalan papers, since the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, that is really shocking. He's not had a good time of it, but I think the overall reason for this, you've got to look as being a thin squad. The bench yesterday was underused. Yet again, Luis Enrique didn't bring on one substitute. They weren't even warming up. I think there's far too much importance being pressed on that front three. If they don't perform, then the team don't perform. And I think that comes down to fitness levels not being quite right. So people like Neymar, he's not fit enough to carry a team for a whole season. That's a long time. You saw Messi was even looking a bit tired. Same with Suarez. And then there's odd decisions happening in the squad as well. The likes of when Alves is injured, Sergio has to play at right back. He's a young central midfielder. Yeah. And then you wonder why 2 goals come down that left side. It's very odd from Enrique.
You can afford kind of an unlucky result when it's going well, but when you've had 2 league losses in a row and you've gone out of the Champions League, it starts to look like a serious problem. And now they're level on points with Atleti.
They are level on points. However, don't forget that over in Spain, it comes down to head-to-head, not goal difference, and they've got a slightly favourable head-to-head. They've also got a better run-in, I'd say, than Atletico and Real Madrid. And don't forget those two play in the Champions League as well, so it might actually favour Barca slightly going out the Champions League at an earlier stage. But with that thin squad, we want to know from you guys at home, who do they need to sign this summer to become world beaters again? Let us know in the comments.
Our second winner of the weekend is Jurgen Klopp. His Liverpool team knocked Borussia Dortmund out of the Europa League last week and then beat Bournemouth 2-1 on Sunday. Joe, what did you think?
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say it, they've been fantastic, but they've been fantastic for a number of weeks now. Of the last 7 fixtures, they've won 5, drawn 1, lost 1, and even loss was a bit dodgy to Southampton. But it's that attacking threat again, we talk about it heavily under Klopp. They're just so good going forward. They love to score goals. They love to press high. I think since he took over in 24 matches, they've scored 44 goals. That's amazing statistically.
It's absolutely incredible. I mean, nearly 2 goals a game. And Firmino and Sturridge, for me, are the key elements to this. Firmino, he seems to fit perfectly into that Klopp system. Pressing, creating, scoring. And as for Daniel Sturridge, when he's fit, he's one of the Premier League's elite strikers.
Yeah, I think it's more than just the 2 players actually as well. They've got some really deep squad. The likes of Origi coming back will have surprised many people, but he's scored 6 goals now. He's physically looking much, much stronger. He's knocking people off the ball. When he first arrived, there was he's a bit lightweight for the Premier League. He's put on a lot of weight, 5 kilograms in 5 months, and he looks a much better player for it. Not only that though, 10 changes at the weekend against Bournemouth. That is impressive to get a result away at Bournemouth with 10 changes, especially when you consider the players they're bringing in: Ward, Randall, Smith, Ojo. These are all young, talented players, and maybe it could be a good sign for Liverpool going forward that they've got a deep squad.
Yeah, well, it seems like they're going to need some of those guys. Mignolet and Bogdan haven't been great. Danny Ward looked like an improvement. And Emre Can is now out with ankle ligament damage. But how far can Jurgen Klopp take this team? Will they win the Europa League? Will they get into the Champions League next season? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our next loser is Celtic, who drew against Rangers in the Old Firm derby, but then lost on penalties and went out of the cup, Pat.
Well, Celtic are a possession side, but somehow didn't manage to control the ball against a team that is still in the division below them. I mean, this is a derby, but nonetheless, Celtic had 37% of the ball. Paddy Roberts missed an unbelievable open goal. It was just really unimpressive all round.
Yeah, Celtic weren't good at all. Even from the off, you could see that Rangers were dominant. They were first into the tackles. Celtic were very, very poor on the ball as well. The likes of Scott Brown, we know Celtic fans for a very long time have been moaning about him. And he was awful on the weekend. He really should have come off earlier. There was very big question marks over Johansson in the number 10 role. Where was Chris Commons and why didn't he come off the bench? Very strange. Rogic similarly didn't come off until extra time, and he was by far their best player when he did come onto the pitch. It was just a very strange performance. However, let's take nothing away from Rangers, the division below, but completely outplayed Celtic here. The likes of Mackay was fantastic on the ball. He was a real bright spark. And the likes of Halliday in midfield, his grit and determination really carried Rangers past Celtic, and it was no surprise that final result.
Well, this is the kind of result that spells the end for Celtic managers. It's the first Old Firm derby for a while, and it's ended the wrong way. And Ronny Deila has form here. I mean, they performed badly against Legia and Malmö in Europe. They had trouble with Ross County, the title challenge from Aberdeen. When you're this dominant in the league, it's not just about winning the league, it's how you win the league. And they need to look at the great Celtic sides of the past. They need to rediscover that dominance.
But Ronny Deila is now hanging by a thread, I think it's fair to say. So where is he going to go? Is he going to be sacked? And who's going to take over from him? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final winner of the week is Aurelio Gomes, the Brazilian Spider-Man. He's incredible. He saved 2 penalties as Watford beat West Brom at the weekend. Joe, what did you think?
Yeah, the gumshoe wearing God is back at it. He can't stop it, can he? He just loves saving penalties. He's now saved 29% of the penalties that he's faced. That is an unbelievable statistic. In Premier League history, only David Seaman saved more, 32% he saved. However, this isn't the first time he's done it either, Patrick. He did it against Darren Bent as well, so Berahino, don't be too sad.
Well, Aurelio Gomes has been a cog in an incredibly impressive defensive machine at Watford. They've been defending from the front. They've got Capoue, they've got Suarez, they've got Cathcart, Prödl. Nathan Ake has been really, really good. Alan Mignon. Been really impressed by their defence this season. They've really sat back, compressed the midfield, and teams struggle to break them down.
Yeah, it's very true. They've been very heavily reliant on that defence because their attack, other than Ighalo and Deeney, have been very poor. Ighalo's got 16 goals this season, Deeney's got 10. Watson on the weekend became the 3rd top scorer with 2. That is nowhere near good enough. They've been so heavily reliant on defence. Next season is going to be a real tough test.
Well, you're quite right, because Nathan Ake, you'd imagine he'd go back to Chelsea, and they will have to bring somebody else in. Difficult second season, possibly. So, will Watford manage to stay up next season? Who do they need to sign to ensure their Premier League survival? Let us know in the comments below.
Our final losers are Norwich, who lost 3-0 to relegation rival Sunderland on the weekend, Pat. What went wrong?
They were absolutely dreadful, and it's been a dreadful couple of weeks for them. Nobody snatches defeat from the jaws of victory quite like the Canaries. They played against Palace last week, lost 1-0. Palace have taken fewer points in the league than any other team since the turn of the year, and then losing 3-0 to a direct rival. They haven't scored a goal in either of these games. It looks like a real problem for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. The goal scoring is a massive, massive issue. You look on paper, where are those goals going to come from to keep them up in these final few weeks? Mbakani's top scorer on 5, and he was dead at the weekend. He was not good. And then you look at the likes of Sunderland, in comparison, who are a direct rival. They've got Jermaine Defoe up front, who scored 13 goals. That's his 2nd best ever Premier League tally. That's very impressive. He might be the man who keeps them up, but where is Norwich's Jermaine Defoe? They just don't have one. Nathan Redmond potentially didn't come on off the bench until the 70th minute from Alex Neil's side. So it's going to be a close one, and now Norwich look like they might be getting dragged back in.
Well, this is the problem. They can't seem to get themselves back into games. When they go 1-0 down, they really struggle to get back into the game. They've only taken 4 points from that position this season. They've gone 1-0 down 22 times in the league. So I really don't see, without a strong attack and without a decent defence, how are they going to manage to stay up?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight now. But who's going to go down? Who's going to join Aston Villa in the Championship next season? Will it be Norwich, Newcastle or Sunderland? Let us know who you think in the comments below.
So those were this weekend's winners and losers, but who did we miss? Who should we have included? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this video, why not check out the 5 worst footballing disasters playing on screen now, and there's a link in the description. And as ever guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.